And there are some men who can simply never, ever be married. They can have dogs and cats, but they can't have a human in that house with them. Because when a man isn't submitted to the lordship of Christ, he will become irresponsible or abusive, and both of those will drive you crazy. And so you check that man for his faithfulness in church, his faithfulness in the Bible, his faithfulness to his mother and his father, his commitment to moral purity. Look for those things in him, because that's the North Star that gives you a reasonable assurance of his character. That's the fountain out of which will grow your affection, is the continuity of that character. Men, watch that girl. If that girl has a problem with her authority of her parents, if she has a problem with her teachers, why do you think you will put one of these on and she will look to you and say, "My head and my sovereign"? Do you really think that will happen? You are in for a little bit of hell on earth. Don't you do it. There are some women who can never, ever be married because of that very thing. And whenever you get a man, whenever you get a woman that is resistant to Genesis chapter 1, who God is, you can't have Genesis chapter 2, marriage. First Adam sees God. First Eve sees God. Then they see each other. Amen? Now, if they don't have this, they're still going to have the longing to be married. And this is what a carnal, fleshly kind of person must do. They must create an illusion of spirituality, or they must create a diversion. The illusion means that you know the songs, you attend the functions, but in the quiet of the home, you show who you are. Diversion means that you take the glance away from the heart to the car, the clothes, and all the paraphernalia. Can human beings be diverted by things like that? They can be. Number 3, there has to be a ministerial unity. You have to be going approximately the same direction. If I've got this girl over here, and I've seen it happen, this committed Christian woman that loves the Lord, loves His Word, loves to see people come to faith, and she is attracted to this guy who simply wants to make $1 million before he is 30. They're pulling two different directions. She has heavenly values, he has temporal, physical values. We're going to have a division in that home. Let me tell you where I met my wife, and I share some of this in the Song of Solomon conference. It was at a campus crusade. That's where I was discipled in college. And I remember seeing her as the girl that was the go-to girl of Campus Crusade. When anything needed to be done, they went to my wife-to-be. I remember sitting at conferences and watching her, I can still see her sitting at the back, taking notes. My wife was always at the back. She was always serving. I remember in prayer, listening to her in prayer meetings and opening my eyes illicitly and just looking at her, watching that woman. That's what made me fall in love with her. This woman wanted to serve God. I wanted to serve God. I wanted to make my life count for eternal things. We just kind of came together running the same direction. And there was love, there was passion, but we have helped each other. I just built her and us a home. We always wanted a Victorian home. We built a Victorian home. Well, she has 2 ministries that she runs. She takes the wives of international students. North Texas University has 2,000 international students. Top students from around the country, or the world, that come to study at North Texas. 4th largest college in Texas is in Denton. Their wives, a lot of times, are the most lonely of people because they're out of step in this foreign culture. My wife says, "You come to me, and I'll show you how to keep a checkbook, how to shop at Tom Thumb. I'll show you how to drive without killing people," if you know any international students. She'll show them how to drive. She'll show them how to shop. She'll show them how to take care of their children. And as she goes along, the basis by which she teaches them is, guess what? The Bible. And so every Thursday morning, my home was displaced because my wife had 30 international women in there doing ministry. And so I had to build her this 3,000 foot called a Morton building. It's a real nice steel building. And that's where she has her ministries. Now, that's the kind of woman that I married. On Tuesdays, a lot of times I don't see her till late in the afternoon because she runs our mom's ministry. She takes the young mothers of our church and she skills them. She builds into the next generation. During the week, she'll leave the house. She'll go off and meet with a girl that she's mentoring and discipling and getting close to. That's the kind of woman I married. And so when I head off to Cedarville College, whenever I head off to where I am, do you think my wife gives me any grief? She doesn't. Whenever I have to go do ministry, do you think my wife gives me any problem? We're going the same direction. We help each other. Do you think that her husband gripes because I have to spend this money on that building? Do I gripe because I lose her for a day? That's my joy, is to give my wife up to God. Are you with me? Theological, moral, and ministerial unity. Number 4, there has to be a social unity or compatibility. Some guys don't believe this. I believe it adamantly. If I was your father, and I'm old enough, you're young enough that you could be my kid. I'm 51 years of age. If I had you as my child and I wanted to fix up your future mate, if you were my son, what would I fix up? I would look for, obviously, a believer that loved the Lord, a girl that was heading where you were heading. But do you know what I'd look for, guys? If you were a young man that loved opera, I wouldn't find necessarily a girl that loved camping, all right? I would get someone that was on the same page as you, someone that socially you could hold hands and you could go together in things. I'm a great believer in social compatibility. A premarital relationship has to be easy. There's an ease to it because you just kind of enjoy what each other enjoy. If you're a guy that loves to work out and to run, and this woman can't stand to sweat, we may have a problem right here. If you're a woman that loves to read, this guy can't stand reading, we may have a problem. Now, do opposites attract? Yes, they do. You know what the problem with that is? Is that opposites attract. And what will drive you crazy about your mate are the things that attracted you to them at the outset. And you have to be careful of that. I'll make you a statement. To the degree that you and your future mate are socially opposite, you had better balance it out with an equal amount of flexibility and holiness. Couples that are real close in everything that they like, if they don't watch it, they can get bored in life because it's easy just to go together. But if you're really at a disparity, that's okay. But if you've got 30 pounds of difference, there had be 30 pounds of flexibility. If you've got 100 pounds of difference with you and your mate, there'd better be 100 pounds of holiness and godliness with each other. You've got to be able to enjoy the same things.